Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to some Magic the Gathering Arena. Today we're going to be doing something. Sorry. Today we're going to be doing something extra special. It's been a while since the last time I have done one of these pack opening streams that, as the title might suggest, I am going to open all that I have. Currently, I'm downloading an update, but I wanted to start at a specific time. So, unfortunately, game not ready yet. But I wanted to do it this way because I seem to never catch up. Like, I do it like expansion at a time, or like just a set of packs at a time. And then before the next time I do it, a new expansion comes out, and it gives you 3 or 4 sometimes free packs. So it's like it just keeps accumulating, and I can't keep up. So I'm gonna catch up right now. I mean, not right now. Right now, I still got half a gig to wait on, or a little less than that. But yeah, so we'll be doing everything. I'm not gonna read every card because then we would literally be here like until 10 o'clock at night. I don't feel like doing a almost 5-hour stream to open virtual packs of virtual cards. So I will just do the ones that are definitely new. I think they still have the little new or first thing above it or something like that. I'll be just be doing those, and of course I'll be doing the ones that I flip over, unless I had just like previously flipped one of the same kind over. But we don't usually get repeats on those. And that was fairly loud. See? Bloomborough now. It's like, yes sir, look at inbox. Patch notes, okay. That's okay. We didn't get... That is not what I wanted to do. I did get the Bloomborough packs already. That's kind of what inspired me. I logged in on my iPad. I have the game installed on my iPad. That's actually... I mean, my old iPad is the one I used to play the actual games on it the most. I think I'm like... I think I only ever played like 2, maybe 3 games of actual gameplay on my computer. I haven't played any games on my actual current iPad because I just got it this year, and I really haven't played this other than pack openings at all this year. So yeah, I keep gesturing that way. It's like the iPad it's right here. It's my YouTube studio dashboard, because I no longer run the actual YouTube dashboard on my computer anymore, because I don't even have my browser open anymore. I have been finding out that has been using up RAM. I mean, I have plenty of RAM, but like it's been overreaching, and I don't have like Opera GX or anything like that to like manually manage the RAM consumption. And I'm not going to switch browsers just for that one reason. I use Microsoft Edge. It's installed by default. It works fine for what it is. I don't need fancy browsing experience. I just need what works. And what works is Edge. So I'll use it sometimes, but like when I'm streaming, I no longer have it open on my computer. So this may not seem like a lot, but normally I would just do an entire stream of reading everything but within the stream repeat cards for all 3 packs, and that would take like an hour and a half. Because I would also like make comments about the game, the cards and stuff like that. And the fact that we do only have 4 sets is why I'm still rambling on and not opening the packs yet. Like I've only been going on for 5 minutes, first and foremost. The stream's only been going on for 5 minutes, so yeah, it is what it is. Also, as long as I stay within the parameters of only reading new cards that are marked as such, you can always pause and read any that you find interesting. But like, I've allotted myself enough time to do this. I've started early enough to where I should be able to get through all 4 of these expansion packs in the time that I have given myself. So I am also unfortunately dealing with a little bit of congestion. Not so much in the nose, but like in the back of the esophagus. That's not how I normally say that word. I just felt like saying it that way for comedic effect. I can say esophagus. Just alright. We're not going to do this open all thing. I experimented with that before, but I kind of don't like having that big sprawl of cards, even though it'd be very fitting with the title, but maybe we'll do it for the last set. Oh, and they're almost all for bonus sheet in first. Okay, we're like always, start at the bottom right, work our way toward the top, the unflipped card, you know, across. All right. Before I do read the first one, that is really a cool art. So, but we'll get to it. We have Corrupted Conviction, which is a 1-drop instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature, which I don't like. Draw 2 cards. Not worth it. Not unless you got like a 1/1 that is not doing anything, and you've got plenty of other creatures on the thing. It's not my. I don't like to sacrifice. I am not a sacrifice player when it comes to this game, and I've done at least a micro tangent to a long tangent about this mechanic in every single one of these streams that I've done. But for anyone that's new, that hasn't witnessed through any of these before, I will be very brief. I do not like to sacrifice creatures or enchantments or stuff like that to gain other things, unless it is a much better thing that I'm getting. And most of the time with these cards, it's like it's an equal, or it's a could be better, but not always a guarantee. Like, for instance, I could only have 1 creature on the field, and it's a pretty decent creature. I sacrifice it and play this card. I draw 2 cards, and they're both crappy creatures or not creatures at all or anything like that. And then I have no more creatures on the field. I'm kind of defenseless. But hey, I've got 2 more cards. I really shouldn't have sacrificed a creature for it. I mean, that's the risk you take when you play that way. So some people are okay with it. I am not. That's my brief rant. Okay. Mirage Mesa is a desert land. It enters the battlefield tapped. As it enters, choose a color. Add 1 mana of that chosen color when you tap it. I like that. That's a good one. Okay. Resolute Rejection is a 2-drop instant with target tap creature perpetually loses all abilities. Then Resolute Rejection deals 4 damage to it. That's brutal. That's brutal. Yeah, that's a brutal one. It's like, you can't do your ability, and then if it's weak enough, I'm gonna snap your neck. Basically, do what the picture looks like. Like rip its very essence out and leave it either maimed or dead. Then we got a uncommon wild card. Okay. We have Brittled or Bridled Bighorn. It is a 4-drop creature, sheep mount, with vigilance. Whenever it attacks while saddled, create a 1/1 white sheep creature token. Saddle cost is 2. And it's a 3/4. Tap any okay, the saddle is tap any number of creatures you control with a total power 2 or more. This mount becomes saddled until end of turn. Saddle only is a sorcery. That's an interesting mechanic. I don't know if I particularly care for it. But it's one of those take it or leave it. I don't know one way or another yet. Alright, we got Harrier Strix, which is a 1-drop creature bird. I mean, specifically an owl, I think. It'd be hard pressed to tell me that's not an owl, but it's whatever. It has flying, of course. It's a bird. Most of them do. Not all, but most. When Harrier Strix enters the... I was not expecting that to be shorthanded. When Harrier Strix enters the battlefield, tap target permanent. It's like I get okay. There are parts of the text and stuff that I'm used to being in Magic cards that I don't even read that part. As soon as it like starts to have a certain context, I'll just auto fill it out like in my head. So when Harrier Strix enters the battlefield, I don't even think about enters the battlefield. It just blurts out. The fact that I wasn't able to follow along with said words when I was going through it, because like, you know, as you read. So I guess I do actually read it. I just don't think about reading it. I kind of just say it aloud. But because it wasn't there to read along with it, I tripped over my words. Okay, but when it does enter the battlefield, you tap a target permanent, and then you can pay 2 of any and 1 blue to draw a card and then discard a card. It is 1/1. Then we get to this, which is apparently the Prosperity Post newspaper art or frame kind of. I don't know. It is what it is. It is, in fact, Tyrant's Scorn. Right? Or is the Prosperity Post the name of the... Because that's where it's up at. I'm gonna say that it's Tyrant's Scorn. It's kind of weird how Prosperity Post is in line with the mana cost, which is, you know, the thing that's constantly the thing with cards in this. But then you have Tyrant's Scorn down here. I still do like the art on it. I still do like the style, the frame, whatever you want to call it, the specialty frame. I like it. It's cool. I like the aesthetic. But it's made a confusing shift in text, which I'm not sure it bothers me, but it most likely may end up bothering. But Tyrant Scorn is a 2-drop. It's instant. You can choose one, either destroy target creature with mana value 3 or less, or return target creature to its owner's hand. I mean, that's pretty cool. It's not like amazing, but like if it has a mana value of 3 or less, you can just get rid of it outright. But if it has more than that, then you can simply just return it to its owner's hand. Which, if it's got like plus 13, double strike, blah blah blah, all that crap slapped on it, one way or another, you can undo all that. Either getting rid of the creature entirely, or just, you know, resetting it, because it'll come back out next turn, probably, if the person decides to play it again, without all those buffs, unless it has one of those things that triggers and it piles up on any new creature that enters the battlefield. A lot of rambling. Moving on. I mean, I appreciate the rare wild card. I do, but I feel like I've been cheated out of something there by flipping that over and not getting an actual card. I mean, this is essentially a card of my choosing, which I guess is technically better. I just, for the sake of the stream, it you know, it could have been an actual not wild card, but it is what it is. What it is moving on to the next pack. Okay, so the first one we would have is this one. Discerning Peddler is a 2-drop creature human rogue. When Discerning Peddler enters the battlefield, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. I like how it's an option. Oh, by the way, it's a 2/2. I like how it's like I may discard a card, and if I do, I can draw a card. That's nice. That's something I'm willing to settle for. Like, some cards are like, in addition to paying the mana cost for this creature, like discard a card and then draw a card. It makes you do it. Where this one's like, you can do it if you want. I like that. It's a lot more passive about it. That's something I can get behind because it's an option, and options as always are good. Alright. Thieving Aven is a 3-drop creature bird rogue with flying. Whenever Thieving Aven deals combat damage to a player, heist target opponent's library. When you cast a spell you don't own, put a 1/1 counter on Thieving Aven. That's interesting. So a heist is look at 3 random non-land cards from the target opponent's library. Exile one of them face down. You may cast that card for as long as it remains exiled, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any type to cast that spell. That is a interesting mechanic, and I like it very much. I am going to take a picture. Alright. As per usual, if I like a card, I will take a picture of it, and that will help me remind me that I may look up, you know, physical copies of said cards for future deck building of my own accord. Alright. So as per usual, if there is an unflipped card on the bottom row, we will save that for also, you know, unflipped cards are saved to the end of the pack. So that will be saved until just before that one. So we will move on to this one. Fake Your Own Death, which is a 2-drop instant. Until end of turn, target creature gets +2/+0 and gains When this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control, and you create a treasure token. I like that. I like that. Not very often that I like something like that, but I like that one. In fact, I will take a picture of that one. Alright. Silver Deputy. Artifact is a 2-drop artifact creature mercenary. When Silver Deputy enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land or card or a... I'm gonna try it again. When Silver Deputy enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card or a desert card. Reveal it, then shuffle and put it on top. You can tap to target creature you control to get +1/+0 until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery, and it is a 1/2. Okay, we've already read that one. So I'll flip this one over. Okay, so it has now been made clear to me that the prosperity post is just a header for the said newspaper of the frame design, and that the actual name of the card is down below. So this one is Endless Detour, which is a 3-drop instant. The owner of target spell, non-land permanent card, or card in a graveyard puts it on the top or bottom of their library. Okay, I like it, but the wording on it is kind of just throws me off a little bit. It's fine though. And then a mythic wild card, which, you know, as always, appreciated, but still feel kind of cheated out of, you know, another card to read. But, okay. Last Thunder Junction before Outlaws have Thunder Junction. Alright, we got Take Up the Shield, which is a 2-drop instant. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature. It gains lifelink and indestructible until end of turn. That's actually really nice. We also have Oasis Gardener, which is a 3-drop artifact creature Scarecrow. When Oasis Gardener enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life. And you can tap to add 1 mana of any color. That's honestly really good, in my opinion. And it's 2/2. Alright, Silent Extraction, which is a 2-drop instant. Choose target spell. Counter that spell unless its controller pays 2. Alright. Threshold. If 7 or more cards are in your graveyard, seek a creature card with the same mana value as the chosen spell. Not bad. That's actually... It's dependent on your opponent, which, you know, can make it a tricky one to pull off. But at the same time, you can pull off some pretty clever stuff with that. Yeah, a nice little clever trick. But, yeah. Alright. Journey to Nowhere is a 2-drop enchantment. When Journey to Nowhere enters the battlefield, exile target creature. When Journey to Nowhere leaves the battlefield, return the exile card to the battlefield under its owner's control. Okay. I mean, the picture does give it a good, like, vibe of what it's trying to do. It's basically like, hey, this thing's out of play until this leaves. So it's like sealing them away in a jar to then, like, at some point if it breaks open, then it's back and exactly where you left off, pretty much. It's weird. Alright. We got to... I don't have the first thing above it, so we'll move to Grave Expectations, which is a 1-drop instant. Choose one. Either heist target opponent's library, which, as we previously discovered, is a pretty good option, or exile up to 3 target cards from your opponent's graveyard. You gain 3 life. Also a fair... I'm about that. That's actually pretty good. We've got Solitary Defiance, which is a 3-drop enchantment. As long as you control exactly 1 creature. That creature has Vigilance and Ward 2. With some of the games that I've played, especially against Garrett and Logan, 1 creature is sometimes all I can manage to have, especially with their freaking land destruction deck and the other one's sliver deck. Yeah, not great. Not a great time. So this would actually come in handy in certain situations with that. But whenever a creature you control attacks alone, seek 2 non-land cards, then discard a card. Alright. Well, that's going to do it for Thunder Junction. Now we have Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Holy cow. Okay, I need to, I don't even know what it does, but I'm taking a picture of that one just so I can send it to someone that really likes cow. Alright. It is a 3-drop creature Ox Angel. With flash and flying. When Holy Cow enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life and scribe 1. And it's a 2/2. This is an outrageous card. And it's decent. Like it's a good card. But why? Why is Holy Cow a card? We're moving on. Seize the Secrets is a 3-drop sorcery. This spell costs 1 mana less to cast if you've committed a crime this turn. Oh, the implications of that. Cards that say that should not be allowed, my friends, near my friends. Because things will get out of hand. Yeah, but you draw 2 cards. We're already off to an outrageous start to Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Okay, we have Lazav, Familiar Stranger. It's an oxymoron. It's a 3-drop legendary creature, Shapeshifter. When you commit a crime, put a +1/+1 counter on Lazav, Familiar Stranger. Then you may exile a card from a graveyard. If a creature card was exiled this way, you may have Lazav become a copy of that card until end of turn. This ability triggers only once each turn. And it is a 1/4. Terminal Agony. Oof. Is a 4-drop sorcery. Destroy target creature and has madness. If you discard this card, discard it into exile. When you do, cast it for its madness cost or put it into your graveyard. Oh, jeez. That is... ouch. We have Armored Armadillo, which is a 1-drop creature armadillo with Ward 1. You can pay 3 of any and 1 white, and Armored Armadillo gets plus X plus 0 until end of turn, where X is its toughness. Okay. So, without any counters put onto it, it would become a 4/4. Okay. And then if you have counters that increase the toughness, then it obviously would be whatever that is at that point. But yeah, that's a decent card. I think that's alright. And we have Iron Fist Pulverizer. Oh my. And it is a 5-drop creature giant warrior with reach. Fair enough. When you cast your second spell each turn, Iron Fist Pulverizer deals 2 damage to target opponent. Scry 1, and it's a 4/5. Ouch. Okay. We have Bandit's Haul, which is a 3-drop artifact. When you commit a crime, put a loot counter on Bandit's Haul. This ability triggers only once each turn. You can tap to add 1 mana of any color. You can also pay 2 and tap to remove 2 loot counters from Bandit's Haul to draw a card. Not bad, not bad. That might be something that I might use for a deck. Then reveal last card. Pitiless Carnage. It's a 4-drop sorcery. Sacrifice any number of permanents you control, then draw that many cards. So basically, like during the game, optional and adjustable mulligan is basically what I'm hearing about it. Also, plot 3. You may pay 1 colorless and 2 black in this instant, and exile this card. Cast it as a sorcery on a later turn without paying its mana cost. Plot only as a sorcery. Okay. So there's a similar mechanic that I can't think of the name. I think it's like 4C. It's something like foresight, like something along those lines. Foretell, there we go. It's foretell cost. But this one's slightly different. But it is cheaper to play it that way. A cheaper way, but you can't play it immediately. You pay less now to play later, or you pay more now to play in it. No. Not bad. Alright. Second pack of Outlaws of Thunder Junction. We have Desert Dew, which is a 2-drop instant. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. It gets an additional -1/-1 until end of turn for each desert you control. Not bad. As we saw it like very early on, desert lands pretty good. At least the one that I got from pack, pretty good. We'll move on to Spring Splasher, which is a 2-drop creature frog beast. I mean, I guess that's a term for what I'm looking at. Whenever Spring Splasher attacks, target creature defending... Okay. When it attacks, target creature defending player... Oh, okay. The wording had me off just a little bit. Okay. So, a target creature defending player controls gets -3/-0 until end of turn. And to 2/1. Alright. Not bad, but not great. Let's see. Caught in the Crossfire is a 2 question mark drop. I know that's not a question mark, but that's me adding a question mark to, like, it is a 2 drop instant with spree. Choose 1 or more additional costs. Okay. So choose 1 or more. So, okay. It's an at least 2-drop instant with spree, where if you pay a third colorless, or like a third any color mana, caught in the Crossfire deals 2 damage to each outlaw creature. If you pay one of any color either on top of what you've already paid for the outlaw creature, or just as an alternative, caught in the Crossfire deals 2 damage to each non-outlaw creature. So it's now it's actually an at least 3-drop, because like you can, if you pay, well, you have to choose 1, so you have to pay at least a third mana. So it's basically deal 2 damage to each outlaw creature or non-outlaw creature, or both, depending on how much you want to spend. Has a weird way of putting that, but it is definitely a card that I would like, because it's, you know, direct damage. I like me some direct damage cards. So we'll move on to something less confusing. Fierce Retribution is a 2-drop instant with cleave 6. Destroy target attacking creature. Cleave is you may cast a spell for its cleave cost. If you do, remove the words in square brackets. Okay. So you pay the cleave cost and it's destroy target creature. If you don't, it has to be attacking for you to destroy it. Which is fine. That's a good trade-off. I mean, it's an expensive one, but having that freedom for any target creature versus it having to be attacking may be worth 6 extra, or not 6 extra, but like 6 costs instead of 2. We'll move on. Corrupted Conviction is one that I've already read at some point or owned. I said I was only doing the first. So we will do Sterling Hound, which is a 3-drop artifact creature dog. I mean, it's the shape of a dog, but I don't know if I'd call that a dog. When Sterling Hound enters the battlefield, surveil 2. Surveil is look at the top 2 cards of your library, then put any number of them into your graveyard and the rest on the top of your library. Anyway. Okay. It's a 3/2. It says beware of cog. Okay. Sorry, I just caught that. I usually don't look at the flavor text, but like that one caught my eye. Okay, we've already read that one. Now we got Free Strider Lookout, which is a 3-drop creature human rogue with reach. When you commit a crime, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them onto the battlefield tap. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. This ability triggers once each turn. And it is a 3/3. Which I guess we never really discussed what a crime is because I was too busy like making the joke that my friends would be like, oh, I'll go out and I'll run a stop sign or something like. But or like, I'll go jaywalk and then I'll come back and play the game. Something stupid along those lines is bound to happen if these cards get into the hands of my friends. But we didn't actually establish what is a crime in this game, and that is targeting opponents, anything they control, and or cards in their graveyard is a crime. That's illegal. No, but that's essentially what most of my instants and sorceries do is crime. Yeah. Alright. So glad that we established what crime is on what I believe is either the last or second to last of the packs that are probably going to have this mechanic in it. Okay, second to last. This is the last. Alright. We only have 4 plus whatever this is. So 5 out of these cards. Take the Fall is a 1-drop instant. Target creatures get -1, -0 until end of turn. It gets -4, -0 until end of turn instead if you control an outlaw. Which I hadn't established yet already. It's been on screen before, I believe. But assassins, mercenaries, pirates, rogues, and warlocks are outlaws. I don't know why warlocks are, but the other ones seem fitting. Okay, and then you'll still draw a card unless I forgot to mention that. Okay. We got Take for a Ride, which is a 3-drop sorcery. Take for a Ride has flash as long as you've committed a crime this turn. Gain control of a target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. It gains haste until end of turn. Okay, so I like the option of having flash if I committed a crime that turn, but I would have had to have. Flash means you can play at any time that you cast an instant. You would also had to have cast an instant to commit said crime in order to play this card as an during the same time as an instant. So you have like double up on playing stuff on not your turn in order to take advantage of that. But I don't know. I feel like there's a use case for it to happen, but like I don't know if I don't try to do anything other than like something defensive during someone else's turn. Like if they play something and I can counter it with an instant, or like debuff it, or pretty much like pacify or something like that. If I can do something like that during their turn, then like I'll use that aspect of instance. So that I'll usually just wait until my turn to do anything offensively. So YouTube's saying that I've got poor bitrate, which I thought I had done away with when I here, I'll try closing Discord, see if that helps anything. And on OBS's end, it seemed to clear up immediately. So apparently Discord was doing something naughty. Naughty. Hopefully the thing on YouTube's end will eventually go away. And everything will be fine on that end as well. But as far as though, because like usually YouTube will yell at me for something like that, and I'll look down and the signal strength on my OBS is fine. That time it was not. So yeah, but it should be fine now, or like it should become fine at some point on YouTube's end. But as soon as I closed out, I didn't have anyone in chat in the Discord with me, so I kind of just I left it open for in case someone wanted to, but it's not worth tanking my whole stream. So I just, yeah, it's fine. YouTube's still saying error, yada yada, but oh, and it just went away. Okay, so everything should be fine now. I don't know what Discord was doing. It was doing something bad. It was sucking up the bandwidth and being like, this is all mine. It's like, you're not talking to anybody on Discord, but I'm going to use up this chunk internet real good. Thank you for sacrificing everything so I can do absolutely nothing with it. Yeah. So, sorry about that, folks. Apparently it was Discord's fault. Where was I? I believe I was... Okay, then that... Yeah. So I usually wait till my turn to do offensive stuff. This one has another little plus spree, whatever you want to call it. So I'm not even going to say what drop, like what mana drop it is. It's on screen. You can infer for yourself. Dance of the Tumbleweeds is a sorcery with the spree ability. You can add one, and you can search your library for a basic land card or a desert card, put it onto the battlefield, and then shuffle, and or create a XX green elemental creature token where X is the number of lands you control. Exhibit A. Right there. Right next to it. I can't touch it without it going away. But, yeah. Second. Yeah. But, yeah. I mean, that's the asterisk instead of X, but on the token. But I'm not getting into the nitty gritty. It's an okay, like, it's definitely a good green card. It's solid. If I really use green mana stuff in my decks and stuff like that, that would probably make it in there at some point. But I usually don't. So it's solid. Might use it someday. Don't know. Then we've got Decisive Denial, which is a 2-drop instant. You can choose one, either target creature you control fights target creature you don't control, or counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 3 mana of any color. Alright, solid. And then we have the last card. It roared at me. Okay. Stoic Sphinx is a 4-drop creature, Sphinx, with flash, flying. Stoic Sphinx has hexproof as long as you haven't cast a spell this turn. So would that mean that for the first turn? I mean, you could play it during not your turn. So, it's a 5/3, by the way. So, my suggestion, if you have this card, is to play it, like, right at the end of your opponent's turn. That way, like, they don't really have any means of responding. And then it triggers to the next turn, which you haven't played a spell yet that turn, so it would have hexproof unless you played something that turn. So I don't, if you've expunged all the creatures that you have in your hand aside from this one in the previous turn, and you don't know if you're gonna get another one in, like, within a reasonable amount of time, play this at the end of your opponent's turn, and then don't play anything unless you don't really care about protecting it with hexproof, which is fine. Just don't play anything other than this, and then you can have that fight or whatever. Like, if it dies or whatever, then you can start playing things again. Like I said, unless you want to forego the entirety of the hexproof protection on it, which is fine. You just because it has hexproof until you play something during a turn, and you'll get it back the next turn. But like, if you're wanting to like pull back that hexproof shield for the rest of said turn by playing something else during that turn, I'm not saying that's invalid. I'm not saying that's a bad strategy. I'm not saying like you should protect this at all costs by not playing anything and keep the hexproof on it. Like, if that's the way you want to do it, fine, that's the way I would do it. But if you're okay with it not being hexproof, then it's whatever. Your playstyle is your own at the end of the day. Continue. We have Modern Horizons 3. Most of them are, in fact, all of the ones that aren't wild cards are first. Alright, let's go to Kami of Jealous Thirst. This is the first pack of this expansion that I've opened, so it makes perfect sense. I mean, if you think about it, reprints happen, and like, I know it's not likely to happen in a virtual version of the game, but you know, still a possibility. And then it technically wouldn't be a first, and then I wouldn't have to read it. But here we are. Okay, Kami of Jealous Thirst is a 3-drop creature spirit. Okay. Like, I know that deities and gods and stuff like that are in this game. And for those of you that don't know what kami means God. So, you can just put creature God. But leaving it as a spirit is one thing. It has death touch, and for 4 of any and 1 black mana, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. This ability costs its cost less to activate if you've drawn 3 or more cards this turn. Activate only once each turn. So basically, if you drawn 3 or more cards during the turn, it's a free ability. So 100% discount for anyone who's drawn 3 or more cards that turn. And it's a 1. I said it's a 1/3, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, it is in fact a 1/3. But I don't know if I had said that yet or not. Alright. Anyways, Drown Yard Lurker is a 7-drop. Damn, that's expensive. Creature, Eldrazi Trilobite. Yeah, I'm familiar with a Trilobite. Or Trilobite, however you want to pronounce it. Not familiar with an Eldrazi Trilobite. So, it's an expensive. It's a colorless creature too. I mean, it has cycling for using blue mana, but it's fine. It says vigilance when you cast or cycle Drown Yard Lurker. Create a 0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature token with sacrifice this creature to add 1 colorless mana. With cycling of 2 colorless and 1 blue. It's definitely an interesting sight to see. Definitely an expensive card. And it's a 7/7, so it's definitely worth the cost for something that strong that can produce basically mana dork sacrifices, or sacrificial lambs to the slaughter of. Okay, so now YouTube's telling me and OBS is telling me that it's dropping signal again. And I'm not doing anything else. Everything else is like I got Task Manager open. Wow, the only 2 things running. I'll get more details on the other screen. And now it sounds back to normal. As soon as, I'm just gonna keep this. Just gonna keep this over on the other thing, and if I see what's doing something, I'll kill it. Just smack it with a hammer. Waka! Yeah. It should smooth out on YouTube's end here shortly, like it did last time. I don't know what it is. Especially, it loves to do it when I'm playing this game, and it's not even that network intensive. But anyways, let's get back to the cards. We have Titan's Vanguard, which has a really cool artwork extended frame to it. Titan's Vanguard is a 5-drop creature Eldrazi. Okay. With Devoid, which is a Devoid card has no color. So, okay, so it is a colorless creature that costs 2 different color mana to play. That's weird. Because I don't even, okay, the devoid thing, it exists for the sole purpose of having colorless cards cost colored mana. But my question is, why? What is the purpose? It literally is like, oh, this is a colorless creature that requires you to have at least 1 mountain and 1 forest, instead of, just being 5 colorless or 5 of any color mana to cast. It literally just is overcomplicating things by adding the requirement for 2 different color mana to play this card. What's the point? Is it like it can't be targeted by like target red spell or target green spell? That's, you could have also, you just made it a 5 colorless drop card to do that. Like, I don't know. It's neat, I guess, in concept, but I'm not understanding why or the reasoning behind setting up a card this way. Like, it makes it interesting, it makes it diverse, it makes it like something different, something odd, but at the same time it's like very unnecessary, like extremely unnecessary. It's like there was no point in having the colored mana in the cost in the first place if you're just going to not be a card of either color. I don't know. I mean, it just seems like it's complex. The mechanic of it is complex just for the sake of being complex and no real actual benefit. Because if you're running a red-green deck and you have this card in it, whether it was color like 5 of any mana to play the card or the current cost that you're seeing on screen, it really wouldn't matter unless the person's just not drawing one or the other color of mana. So like you just only have forests or only have mountains, so you're locking it behind that scenario. Because there's been times where me and many of my friends have played dual or multicolored decks, and we'll pull, just out of happenstance, pretty much all one color and have like, it's like I just need one of the other color and I can start doing stuff with my multicolored and other colored cards, but we're kind of just locked in that. Like, having that be locked behind that scenario, being unable to play it because you just didn't have a mountain out yet or you just didn't have a forest out yet, is literally the only difference it's made. Because in normal playthrough where you have at least one of both colors in your mana pool, then it's literally no different than it being a 5 of any color cost. And it's still, at the end of the day, a colorless creature because it's devoid. So, I don't know. Correct me if I'm just being weird about it, but to me, the whole devoid but costs a mountain and a forest doesn't make any reasonable sense to me. So, feel free to put in the comments, it's like, this is exactly why this is put into place, It does this, this, and this for you by doing that. And I'll be like, I guess I'll be like, I guess I just didn't think of that, or like, okay, then that may make sense, or I'll be like, it still doesn't make sense to me. There's no point. Yeah, those are the only possibilities. Like, I doubt there should be like any other kind of response out of me. All right, skipping over the unflipped card, going to retrofitted Transmogrant. It is a 1-drop artifact creature zombie. You can pay 3 of any and 1 black to return it from your graveyard to the battlefield, tapped with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. You could have just said +2/+2 counter on it. Now I'm just being critical because of the other card. But yeah, it's a 1/1. And if it's returned, it'll be a 3/3. Woo woo. Okay. And we got a common wild card. Then we got Glasswing Grace, which is a 5-drop enchantment aura. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has flying and lifelink. Or you can play it as a land, which would then be Age Grace Chapel, and enters the battlefield tapped, and you can add either 1 plains or 1 swamp mana from it. I feel like both are decent. I really do like the cards that double as lands, because if you're land starved, those are saving graces right there. So like I appreciate, and I have had a few decks where like I have the option of it being a land. Most of the, like, believe it or not, I think I don't have normal like completely clear sleeves, so if it's a sleeved deck, then I'll usually leave it with, I think, the land facing out, because like a lot of times, like, I'll want land more than I'll want the other side, but like if I've gotten enough land out, then I'll be like, alright, flip it out of the sleeve, put it back in the other way, and boom, I've got an enchantment or a creature or something like that ready to go. Which is always nice. Alright, so then we've got the revealing cards. Okay. Dream Tide Whale. I can speak. I promise I can. It's a 3-drop creature whale, or something that vaguely resembles a whale. With Vanishing 2, hence why it's evaporating in the clouds, I guess. No. This permanent enters the battlefield with 2 time counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove a time counter on it. When the last is removed, sacrifice it. So it's so, as the term suggests, it vanishes after a couple turns. Okay. When a player casts their second spell each turn, proliferate. Okay, which just adds a counter to all that are, yeah, any number of counters and stuff you want to increase it. So it comes with a built-in prolonging mechanic. So it comes into the battlefield with 2 time counters on it. Then if you cast a second spell, you proliferate. You can choose to proliferate the time counter, and then as long as you're casting 2 spells each turn, you can extend the stay of the Vanishing Dream Tide Whale. and it's a 7/5. Okay, then last unflip card, Urza's Incubator. It is a 3-drop artifact. Urza's Incubator enters the battlefield. Choose a creature type. Creatures spells of the chosen type cost 2 mana less to cast. That's actually, it's pretty good. Okay. I guess we shall continue then. Grave-dig. It is a 2-drop sorcery. Choose one. Either target player creates a 2/2 black zombie creature token, or return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. With Entwine 2. Entwine is you may pay an additional cost to choose both. Oh. I'm this is terrible for a stream that where I just sit down and talk. I'm speechless on that one. It's literally a choose one or the other card that has the cost for why not both. That I think I like the entwine mechanic very much. That's cool. I like it. I like it a lot. Alright, we've got Sheltering Landscape, which is a land. You can tap to add one colorless mana, or you can tap to sacrifice Sheltering Landscape. Search your library for a basic mountain, forest, or plains card. Put it in onto the battlefield, tapped, and then shuffle with cycling of a mana of a mountain, a forest, and a plains mana. So you may pay the cycling cost to discard this card and draw a card. Okay. Then we got Planar Genesis, which is a 2-drop instant. You've got the top 4 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them onto the battlefield tap. If you don't, put a card from among them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Alright. This is, I like the cards that do this kind of thing where you can kind of like sift through and get things rolling out of your deck faster, and then like that. But I tend to not use them very often, mostly because like I don't want to be like, oh well, I can only take one out of this, but I like all 4 of these, or all however many of these are what I've been waiting for. You know, I'd rather just draw them one by one per turn, or if someone has an enchantment that like had draw a second card or whatever. Like, I'd rather do it that way than play an instant like this and then you grab 4 cards and you're like, oh, I want all of these. Well, this card says too damn bad. You can't have all of these. You can have one. If you got a land card in there, boom, on the battlefield tap. If you don't, then you put one of them in your hand, and the other 3 go to the bottom of the library, which you will most likely never see for the rest of the game, unless you have multiple copies. of said cards. And that can be minorly heartbreaking. Just like, I needed those. Under the deck they go. Fuck. Anyways, moving on to Worn Power Stone is a 3-drop artifact. Worn Power Stone enters the battlefield tap. You can tap to add 2 colorless mana. So, not bad, not bad. Very utilitarian, very like Soul Ring equivalent. With okay, so it's Soul Ring but slightly worse because it comes into the battlefield tapped. Yeah, much rather use Soul Ring. Okay, so now we've got Expanding Ooze, which is a 3-drop creature ooze. You can pay 1 swamp and 1 forest to adapt 1, which is that this creature has no +1/+1 counters on it. Put a +1/+1 counter on it. Yeah, I like that. Like, hey, does this creature have a +1/+1 counter on it? No. Put one on it. Just put one on it. Why not? It's like that's very courteous of you, game. Whatever Expanding Ooze attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on target modified creature you control. Not bad. That's a 3/3. Electrozoa. Electrozoa? Yeah, Electrozoa. It's a 3-drop creature jellyfish. I think that's half jellyfish, half Cthulhu. But anyways, it has flash, it has flying. When I said it just fine moments ago. When Electrozoa enters the battlefield, you get 2 little zappy zap things at the beginning of your first main phase. Tap Electrozoa unless you pay a zappy zap thing. Like, there is no terminology on what the hell this symbol means. It's a lightning bolt in an upside down pentagon. Okay. I'm very confused, but like, hey, when it enters the battlefield, you get 2 of them. At the beginning of your first main phase, you tap it unless you pay 1 of them. So this creature is good for 2 turns unless you have some other card to give you more of these, which I'm sure that if a card gives you more of these, they might also have a similar mechanic, which, yeah. I don't know if they're a counter of some kind. I don't know if they're just like a symbolic like balance of similar to mana. So I don't know if you can proliferate your way into getting more or what. I am very confused. I do not know. I will Google this. So far, I am not finding this symbol. I'm on the MTG wiki. So far, oh, there we go. Oh, found it. It's an energy symbol. The refined ether. That is the primary power source of most of the Kaladesh. Used on cards to represent the production and cost of an energy counter. It said the magic word. It said the word counter. So when Electrozoa enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy counters. At the beginning of your first main phase, tap Electrozoa unless you pay 1 energy counter. So it means that is a counter, and it says on the wiki that it's a symbol for the production and cost of energy counters. You can proliferate. So I had misinterpreted because I didn't know what it was before. It's like, oh, it's only good for a couple turns because, you know. But being that proliferating is a thing, and even in this expansion, it has been a thing, I think. Unless it was the last expansion that I saw it in. But anyways, there are cards that you can use to proliferate, and regardless, they exist. So, in other words, if you have this card in your deck, and you do not have any means of proliferating in the rest of your deck, you have wasted a spot in your deck with this card, because it'll be good for 2 turns and then it'll be tapped forever until it dies. It's okay. It's a 3/1, by the way. Alright, Signature Slam is a 3-drop instant. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Then each modified creature you control deals damage equal to its power to the target creature you don't control. Okay. It's very wordy, but yeah. Basically, like, give all your guys a boost and then tell them to go beat the other guy's stuff up. It's like, alright, everyone all jacked and ready to go. Alright, now see that guy's creatures, bug him up. Okay, and then we've got the last card, Kudo, King Among Bears. Indeed. It's 2-drop. It's a legendary creature bear. It's like a bear, and it's like 7 bears in one. Anyways, other creatures have base power of and toughness of 2/2, and are bears in addition to their other types. And this one is a 2/2. Okay. It's basically, and it just says other creatures. So does that turn all of your opponent's creatures into 2/2 bears? I don't know. Man. I'm very confused. I'm very amazed. Why? Last Modern Horizon 3-pack. We got Throbbing Charm. Thraben Charm? I'm gonna say Thraben Charm for the rest of eternity. Because I'm sorry that I said the other way before, because that sounded naughty. Anyways, it is a 2-drop instant. Choose one. Either Thraven Charm deals damage equal to twice the number of creatures you control to target creature. Damn. Or destroy target enchantment. Alright. Or exile any number of target players' graveyards. I mean, if you're playing against a black deck that has a lot of resurrection mechanics, that last one's pretty good. But other than that, like, first one would probably be my go-to. Alright, we have Void Pouncer, which is another devoid creature. It's another devoid creature that costs a colored mana to play. And it's another Eldrazi. Yeah. Anyways, Void Pouncer is a 2-drop creature Eldrazi with the Void and a kicker cost of, I guess, kicker is another. So you've got kicker, foretell, and then the other that we just read like a couple packs ago that I've already forgotten. But yeah. They all do the same thing. It's like you pay this separate cost for something like not immediate to happen. Like the other one we just found out about in the other pack is from what I can tell is a cheaper cost to play it at a later turn, whereas this one's you pay it more and it activates more from the card, which makes sense. You pay more to get more. But yeah, okay, that's the kicker cost of 3. I don't know why it just couldn't have been 3 instead of 2. Does that mean the third one has to be colorless? I think that might be, it has to be colorless. So like 2 of any color and then 1 that has to be a colorless mana. That's the only way that I could think of it being like represented that way. Anyways, if Void Pouncer was kicked, it enters with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Once again, could have just been with +2/+2 on it, but it is what it is. And trample, and a trample counter on it, and with haste. Since when is trample a counter? I think they messed up with the word. I think they legitimately messed up with the word on this one, because like trample is an ability. It's right here. Trample. A creature with trample deals extra combat damage to the player. Planeswalker, it's attacking. So I'm going to take it as it gets the 2 1/1 counters and then has trample and haste. Because putting a trample counter on it makes no sense. Unless that's become a thing in the game since last I knew. But yeah. It's a 3/1. Then we have Vexing Bauble, which is a 1-drop artifact. When a player casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell. Now that seems counterintuitive if you're the one that's trying to cast spells without the mana cost, because like as we're well aware, if you've kept up with all of these streams that I've done there, we've come across plenty of cards where it's like, oh, you exile cards from your opponent's graveyard or even your own in some cases, and you can play a card from that without the mana cost. The Vexing Bauble does not seem to be a respecter of person. having a Vexing Bauble out on your battlefield would prevent you from doing that, because it's whenever a player casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell. So you would immediately be countering your own spell if you did not cost you any mana to cast it. So if you're playing someone else's card from their exiled graveyard or whatever for no cost, it immediately, this Vexing Bauble would counter your own card you're trying to play for no cost. Just based off of the way it's worded, because it's whenever a player. It is not specifying at all, so that means if it's not specifying, it's literally whenever any player does it. So that includes you. So be very careful when using this. So if you don't have any cards that make it to where you can cast something without a cost, then by all means get a full play set of these and protect yourself from someone who will do that. But if you've got cards that will do that, avoid this one for that deck. Also, you can pay 1 of any color and tap it and sacrifice it to draw a card. Okay, so I didn't read that part yet. Not even silently. So there is an out for you. So if you want to play a card that'll allow you to play another card without a cost, without having it automatically countered by the Vexing Bauble, you can pay 1 and tap it and sacrifice it and draw a card. And then do it. So you have an out. It's not set in stone. It's not something you have to completely avoid, but it's something you got to remember to do the secondary ability before doing, otherwise you've shot yourself in the foot on that attempt. It's like, I exile your graveyard, and then I can cast a spell from it without costing the mana cost. And Vexing Bauble's like, no, I can't. So get it out of there before you do anything like that, because unless your opponent's not paying attention and you're not paying attention, then it'll probably be like that. Yeah, it all comes down to how the players are dealing with it. But yeah, all right, we're gonna move on to Fledgling Dragon, which is a 4-drop creature dragon with flying. Threshold: as long as 7 or more cards are in your graveyard, Fledgling Dragon gets +3/+3 and has 1 red mana. Fledgling Dragon gets +1/+0 until end of turn. An ability that begets you another paid, a second paid ability. Interesting. I don't know if I like it, but I mean, I like the benefits of it. So it's a 2/2, or it could be a 5/5, or be a 6/5, depending on whether you have how much cards you have in the graveyard and whether you want to spend extra mana. All right, Skoa, Ember Mage, is a 6-drop legendary creature goblin wizard. When Skoa, Ember Mage, enters the battlefield, it deals 4 damage to any target. So that's like a red dragon, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, Grandeur. Discard another card named Skoa, Ember Mage. Sacrifice 2 mountains. Skoa deals 4 damage to any target. Oh. So when it enters... the battlefield, boom, 4 damage. If I discard another card. So, like, this relies on you having more than 1 copy of this. So, not viable for commander decks unless you're okay with just the initial 4 damage. But the Grandeur is like, hey, you've got this creature on the field. Alright. If you have one in your hand, get rid of that sucker. And this one will, boom, another 4. So literally like, play it, boom, 4. Oh, it's not that target's not dead, or like if you're targeting a creature or whatever, because obviously it says any target. So I obviously want to shoot straight for the opponent. 4 damage. Ooh. Then I sacrifice this other Ember Mage. And now this Ember Mage does 4 more. Take that. Now your opponent's down 8. And then you can, and then next turn, because this one will still have summoning sickness, knock him for another 4. Unless he can block. Yeah. Or if you get a full playset, you can just boom, boom, boom. That'd be, see, 4 for the initial, and then you have 3 more. So that'd be a total of 12 damage. They'd, like, if nothing else hit them, you'd have 12 direct damage straight to your opponent. They'd be at 8 health unless they've gained or lost any through any other means. That could be brutal. Did I take a picture of that? Yeah, I did. Okay. That's brutal. That can be brutal. Especially the full playset. Alright, we got a common wild card. We got Consign to Memory, which is instant. Replicate 1. Counter target triggered ability or colorless spell. And replicate is when you cast the spell, copy it for each time you paid its replicate cost. You may choose new targets for the copies. And the replicate cost is 1, so if you've got a bunch of mana, you can literally do so much to like counter trigger abilities and colorless spells. And if you're facing a colorless deck, that could that could be some savagery right there. Alright, last card of the pack and the expansion, I believe. Disruptor Flute. It's a 2-drop. Okay, I literally like glanced from the card to the thing on the side of the card. So like, hold on, I think I can do it this way. Yeah, okay. So yeah, now I can freely move. So I was like, Disruptor Flute. It's a 2 cost, and then my eye was immediately dropped to woo 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 woo. Not legal, not legal. This card is not legal for the following formats. Brawl. I'm like, okay, I don't care. I was like, my first I was like, why? Why would it give me a not legal card? What's going on? And then I saw like format Brawl. I'm like, okay, fine, that's fine. Anyway, it's an artifact with flash. Disruptor Flute enters the battlefield. Choose a card name. Spells with the chosen card name cost 3 more to cast. So this would be know thy enemy's deck and know what their worst card is and choose that. But yeah. Activated abilities of sources with the chosen name can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. Okay, so the passive abilities of said card that you've chosen also don't are no longer a go unless it's something they can pay to do. That's, I can see why it's not legal in like at least one game mode of this, like, or format or whatever you want to call it. But like, I can see why, because that can be pretty substantial as long as you know what the card that they're like going to use that you really don't want them to use is. If you have no idea what's in someone's deck, then you're just shot in the dark. Unless you're just like, okay, Soul Ring. You can't. I just realized how brutal that would be, though. if someone had Soul Ring in their deck. Oh, no. No! I just realized, oh, that'd be so savage. Okay, so I'll explain. Disruptor Flute. Yep, you pay 2, you play it. Chosen name is Soul Ring. Soul Ring is now not only, I think, what is it, like a 2-3 drop or whatever, but now it's a 5/6 drop card, and the activated abilities of sources that aren't mana abilities they can't be activated. So Soul Ring is useless. It's more expensive and it's useless because the ability of tap to add the mana, it's not a mana ability. The mana ability is the ones that cost mana. So this would be the activated ability of Soul Ring. So the activated ability of Soul Ring, the sole purpose of Soul Ring is to give you mana, and it can no longer do that. And it's like, it costs 3 more to play. So you've just, if someone has a full play set of 4 Soul Rings and they haven't played any of them yet, you have just scrapped their entire Soul Ring playset. Like, that can be absolutely brutal. That could be so savage, especially in our friend group. We love our Soul Rings. It is our favorite mana artifact. Our mana assisting, or like mana dork artifact is what we like to refer to it as, or at least what I refer to it as. This Disruptor Flute would literally disrupt that kind of playstyle that we have. Because anytime any of us would use it, we would probably immediately go for Soul Ring at that point. It's just like, haha, Disruptor Flute. No! And guess what? What? Soul Ring. No! Do not let Garrett or Logan watch this stream. They'll know too much. Oh, God. Oh, God. Alright, so we finally made it to Bloomborough. We are an hour and 43 minutes in about 5 seconds. Let's try to get through this quickly. That way we can just be all caught up and all good to go. And we will do the open all. We will do the open all for the last one. Boom. Holy ball. Whereas on the other deck had like, holy cow. Anyways, Bellowing Crier is a 2-drop creature frog advisor. When Bellowing Crier enters the battlefield, draw a card, then discard a card. Pretty basic. Let's do one. Alright. Runaway Together is a 2-drop instant. Choose 2 target creatures controlled by different players. Return those creatures to their owner's hands. Pretty basic for a blue card. Both of these are. Whisker Quill Scribe is a 2-drop creature mouse citizen. Valiant. When Whisker Quill Scribe becomes the target of a spell or ability you control for the first time, each turn you may discard a card. If you do so, draw a card. It's a 2/2. That is more along the lines of a blue card playstyle than a red card. But it is what it is. Not bad. Brave Kin Duo is a 1-drop creature rabbit mouse. You can pay 1 of any color and tap. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. And it's a 1/1. Seed Pod Squire is a 4-drop creature bird scout with flying. Whenever Seed Pod Squire attacks, target creature you control without flying gets +1/+1 until end of turn. And it's a 3/3. A good support card. Okay, we're going to scroll. Yes, we're going to scroll that far. Okay. Bark Form Harvest. That looks horrifying. Anyways, it is a 3-drop artifact creature shapeshifter. Your shapeshifter changes something not horrifying, please. It's a changeling, which means this creature is every creature type all at once. With reach, which means it can block creatures with flying. You can pay 2 of any color, put target card from your graveyard on the bottom of your library. Okay, not sure exactly what good that'll do, because it's still probably not going to be seen again for the rest of the game. But still. It's a 2/3. Sun Shower Druid is a 1-drop creature frog druid. When Sun Shower Druid enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature and you gain 1 life. It is a 0/2. We have Moonrise Cleric, which is a 3-drop creature bat cleric with flying. When Moonrise Cleric attacks, you gain 1 life. And he is a 2/3. And we got a uncommon wild card. And we got Tide Collar Mentor, which is a 3-drop creature rat wizard with menace. Threshold. When Tide Collar Mentor enters the battlefield, if 7 or more cards are in your graveyard, return up to 1 target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, which is it's a 3/3. Okay, that's it. We have Bandit's Talent, which is a 2-drop enchantment class. We haven't seen classes, at least I haven't, since the D&D expansion. So it's nice to see a return to form. I mean, it looks like this is like a woodland creature D&D kind of mashup. Kind of like, I don't know if anyone's a fan of Legends of Adventurous, but they did a game called Root. And then they did a D&D campaign based off of that game, and they dubbed it Uprooted, which very much is like what we're seeing here. Woodland creatures are the sentient beings of said D&D world. So like this literally falls right in suit with what that is. So anyways, okay, gain the next level as a sorcery to add its ability. Okay. When Bandit's Talent enters the battlefield, each opponent discards 2 cards unless they discard a non-land card. And then you pay 1 black mana and it becomes level 2. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, if that player has 1 or fewer cards in their hand, they lose 2 life. That would get me in a lot of games, because a lot of times I end up with no hand and I just draw and play as, yeah. Anyways, you can pay 3 of any color and 1 black for level 3. At the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card for each opponent who has 1 or fewer cards in hand. So that literally is just taking advantage of those who have played out their hands. Which, fair. It's a decent strategy. Okay, back to over here for the top row. Long Stalk Brawl. It is a 1-drop sorcery. Gift a tapped fish. Choose target creature you control and target creature you don't control. Put a 1/1 counter on the creature you control. If the gift put a 1/1 counter on the creature you control if the gift was promised. Then those creatures fight each other. Gift to tap fish. You may promise an opponent a gift as you cast this spell. If you do, they create a tapped fish token before its other effects. Okay. That's okay. I honestly don't know. It's a weird and convoluted one. I hope I never have to really encounter that one in a game. Agate Assault is a 3-drop sorcery. You choose one. Either Agate Assault deals 4 damage to target creature. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. Or exile target artifact. Alright, pretty solid. I do like me some direct damage or exiling outright of a card. So, not bad, not bad. High Stride is a 1-drop instant. Target creature gets +1/+3 and gains reach until end of turn. Untap it. Okay. I feel like it should say if the target creature is tapped and untap it, because saying untap it threw me off. I wasn't expecting just like something like untap it. It's like, what if it's not tapped? Yeah, I don't know. There I am being picky about wording again. Fountainport Bell is a 1-drop artifact. When Fountainport Bell enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, then shuffle and put that card on top. You can pay 1 of any color, sacrifice Fountainport Bell, draw a card. Got a common wild card. We got Life Creed Duo, which is a 2-drop creature Batbird. It looks like a bat and a bird, not a bat bird, but it is what it is, and what it is confusing. It has flying. Makes sense. Both bat and bird are flying creatures. It'd be weird if it didn't have flying. It's like we've got this bat and this bird, and we're gonna call this singular creature a bat bird, and it can't fly. It's like, where did you mess up the crossbreeding of said creature to where both potentials for fly are just gone? Anyways, beside that, whenever another creature you control enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. And it is a 1/2. Mind Drill Assailant is a 4-drop creature rat warlock. Threshold: as long as 7 or more cards are in your graveyard, Mind Drill Assailant gets +3/+0 and has a 2 of any color and a either blue or black for Surveil 1. Which is basically like scrying, but instead of putting it on the top or the bottom of the library, you either put it back or you put it in the graveyard. Alright. I did say it's a 2/5. If I didn't, it's a 2/5. Mouse Trapper. It seems like a very weird name for creature that is very obviously a mouse themselves. But unless it's like it's a mouse that is a trapper, but the name is misleading. Anyways, it's a 3-drop creature, mouse soldier with flash. Valiant. Whenever mouse trapper becomes the target of a spell or ability you control for the first time each turn, tap target creature an opponent controls. So it's like a defensive pacify 1-turn ability. Okay. And it is a 3/2. Brazen Collector is a 2-drop creature raccoon rogue with first strike. Now this creature deals combat damage before creatures without first strike. Does not apply when creatures fight. When Brazen Collector attacks, add 1 red mana until end of turn. You don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. So basically, just bloop, you have an extra red mana that you don't have a land card representing in your mana pool, and if you don't use it up this turn, it's still there. It just sits there, and if you have a few of these, then you can just have a nice little pool of red mana. Anyways, it's 2/1, and we're moving on to Star Seer Mentor, which is a 5-drop creature bat warlock. So now we have a rat warlock, now we have a bat warlock. Has flying and vigilance. At the beginning of your end step, if you gained or lost life this turn, target opponent loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. It's actually not half bad. Because kind of stick it to them, like stick it to your enemy. It's like, oh, you caused me to lose life, or if I've managed to gain life during this turn, then the the opponent is like, you take 3. Ooh, a little sucker punch right there. I was like, oh, you don't want to lose 3 life? Discard a non-land permanent. Or, just discard the card. Like, it's like, there's a way out for you. You just gotta do something else you don't want to happen. And then we've got 3 unflipped cards. 3 packs, 3 unflipped cards. Alright, first one. Camellia the Seed Miser. They call me Seed Miser. Whatever I touch starts to grow plants in my clutch. I don't know. It's too much. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Sorry. It has been a long time since I had seen the Christmas movie that has Heat Miser and Snow Miser in it, but that anytime I see a name with Miser at the end, my brain immediately goes to that, because almost every Christmas time those movies were playing on Hallmark or something like that, or something along those lines, ABC Family or something like that, and of course it was a must watch for the season. So the Heat Miser and Snow Miser songs forever stuck in the back of my brain somewhere, and it creeps out anytime, especially if it's Seed Miser or something very close to Heat Miser or Snow Miser. Seed Miser, okay, you're asking for the song to come out. Anyways, it's a 3-drop legendary creature, squirrel warlock. It has menace. Other squirrels you control have menace. So the menace is contagious. Whenever you sacrifice 1 or more foods, create a 1/1 green squirrel creature token, which I would presume would also get menace. What? You can pay 2 of any color, forage, put a 1/1 counter on each other squirrel you control. And it is a 3/3. I feel like that means that we are going to see a tribal squirrel deck possibility. It It's very, very likely, because that is very much like a, hey, you want to do tribal squirrels? Because squirrel. It's like, oh, another squirrel. Squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. It's the ADHD embodiment of a tribal deck for Magic the Gathering. Is just squirrel. Bandy. Squirrel. Okay. And anyways, we're going to move on. We have Wick the World Mind, which is a 4-drop legendary creature rat warlock. When Wick or another rat you control enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 black snail creature token if you don't control a snail. Otherwise, put a 1/1 counter on a snail you control. So I feel like there's also going to be a tribal rat / snail deck possibility as well. Anyways, if you pay 1 blue, 1 black, and 1 red, sacrifice a snail, Wick deals damage equal to the sacrificed creature's power to each opponent, then draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's power. Oh, that just stack, and then whoosh, oof. That'd be a big oof. But yeah, that could be a power play. That'd be cool. And then the last one, Heartborn, or either Heartborn or Hearthborn Battler. It is a 3-drop creature lizard warlock with haste. When a player casts their second spell each turn, this deals 2 damage to target opponent. I like it. It's direct damage. I like me some direct damage. It's a 2/3, and I believe that is everything. So, for the first time in probably like a few years, I have no packs. My pack thing is empty. They're all gone. It only took 2 hours to get the last 4 sets done. 12 packs. 2 hours. And I still ended up having to read most of the cards, so I did not get I did not go as quickly as I wanted to. But there you have it, folks. That's literally all the packs that I have. What I will do is I will periodically check back in, and whenever I get some packs, I will try to do, as soon as physically possible, another one of these. That way I can stay ahead, stay topical, because like, oh, new expansions just came out, now I can open the packs for you guys, and it'll be like a lot more topical, a lot more relevant. Because the last few times it's like I'm doing a stream on opening 3 packs from an expansion that came out like months ago, and the views on said videos definitely shown. So yeah. Anyways, that is obviously going to do it for this one, because there's nothing left for me to do for this stream, except for maybe ramble more, but you guys don't want that. So anyways, if you enjoyed this one, please leave a like. If you're new and haven't done so already, consider subscribing. Also, consider joining the channel membership for $1 a month. You get a shout out as soon as I am able to do so once you join the membership. There are links down in the description below. Some of them are Twitch channel links. Some of them are social media. Both are worth checking out. After this becomes a VOD / video archive, or whatever you want to call it, after it's done processing on YouTube's end, that is, there will be a video and a playlist on screen for you guys to continue your video watching journey here on the channel. And with all that said,